Welcome to His and Us Game Time. If this is your first time of watching my video, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the bell button. And the reason why is because anytime we post a new video, you can get an alert. And if you have any comment or any questions, you can send it out and we can talk about it. So today's topic is for the men. And it's something that I've been finding a way to talk about it for a very long time. And my mom, God bless her soul, she is a very, very good advocate of this. And before she passed on, we normally talk about this, and she'll tell me, "Is that you need to communicate this with some men, about your friends and people that you know." Now, what is this about? It's about men and their mother, husbands and their mother, mother and their daughter-in-law, father and their daughter-in-law, husband and their father. Now, this is more or less like husband and his parents. So, what role or what position does your parent play in your marital life? I can say this boldly. My mom, she will never interfere in my relationship. Never. God bless her soul. My mother-in-law and my father-in-law, I don't call them mother-in-law, I don't call them father-in-law. They're my dad and they're my mom. They never interfere in my relationship. See, there are some cases, there are some times whereby we have issues. There's no perfect marriage. We're not a perfect human being. And one way or the other, it gets to them. And do you know what they do? Even though I am wrong in that situation, my mother-in-law and my dad-in-law, they will never, ever blame me. All they will just do is to plead with me. Even though I am wrong, they will never point it out that I am wrong, but they will find a diplomatic way to talk about it. They will make my wife beg for forgiveness or to say sorry to something that she is not wrong for. Yeah, she's right. But what are they doing? They are doing something called stay away from stay away from marital issues. They're very being diplomatic about it. And at the end of the day, even though my wife would come to me and say she's sorry, even though I knew what I did was wrong, later I'll go back and talk to my wife and I will apologize. The same thing with my mom. I'll share a little bit of story. This story may sound a little bit harsh, but that is my story. You can tailor it to be your own story. 20 years ago, my mom, she came to America. And on the first day she came to America, we used to live in New York back then. It was a very cold day. Yeah, it's a cold night. She came around like in the evening, yeah. And it was in November. So if you're familiar with New York, in November is a very cold season. Not just cold, it's very cold. It's winter. So my mother has never been to America before. And me and my wife were living a good life. I do everything that I'm supposed to do for my wife, and we just had a baby. So she came. So when I picked her up at the airport and we got into the car, took her to got to the parking lot, and she was so excited. I was so happy to see my mom. It's been like a year or two since I saw her last. So she was like ready to go home. I want to go home and see your wife and the children and the baby. I said, let us pause right here. And she said, why do we have to pause? I said, well, we need to talk. And she said, what do we need to talk about? I said, we need to talk. It's not a long conversation, but we need to talk. and she asked me, "What do we need to talk about?" I said, "Well, mom, I know you are not a bad mother. However, I need to explain some things to you. And these things that I want to explain to you, if you can stay within those parameters, all of us will live in peace. We're going to live like a happy family." And she said, "What is it?" I said, "Well, this is the Western world. This is America. In America, husband and wife, they work hand in hand. They work together. It is called shared responsibility. Now, some men, they have this ego, and some will even come go into the Bible and say, wife, you know, should be submissive to her husband. Yeah, submissive doesn't mean she has to be a slave. Yeah, you can take it the way you want to take it. So I spoke with my mom. I said, well, here in America, this is the way I run my own house. In my house, I wash the plates, I wash the dishes, I clean the bathroom, I wash clothes, I clean the floor, I take out the garbage, and sometimes I even cook for my wife. So it is not that I am stupid. It is not that I don't know what I am doing. And it is not that she has done voodoo on me. I feel like it's something that I have to do, and I am doing it. Because why? The Bible itself says two will come together and be what? And be one. And she said, "Is that all you want to say?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I don't have any problem with that." I said, "Are you sure?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Because if you have a problem with that, I'll take you home. You'll see my wife, you see the baby, and maybe a week later, you can go back to Nigeria." He said, "No, you know me very well. Now, let me fast forward like 2 or 3 months later. 2 or 3 months later, I go to work, my wife goes to work. She takes care of the baby for us. Before we get back from work, my mom would have cooked food for us. And one day, I sat her down. I said, "You don't have to do this." She said, "No, I have to do it." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because you guys work very hard in this country. You work too much in this country. To go out very early in the morning, come back home like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, and now you have to start cooking by yourself, doing all this by yourself." She said, "I'm home all day. I watch YouTube videos on TV. I'm tired. I take care of the baby. I just feel like I need to do some exercise." That's what she always says. She was, "I feel like doing some exercise." And she'll make food for us. That is a mother. When me and my wife, we have issues, those are early stage of our relationship, of our marriage. And if I talk to my mother and say, "You know what, this is what's going," my mom will say, "You know what? Personally to me, she may be wrong, you may be right, but I still need you to go and beg your wife." And I say, "No, I can't." She'll say, "Well, that's what I want you to do. Because if you do that, you will see what will happen." And in most cases, I'll go back to her and I'll say, "I'm sorry." And whenever I'm saying I'm sorry, and she knew she was wrong, she'll, she'll take the sorry and give it back to me and say, "You know what, I'm sorry too." So in the early stage of our marriage, we always say, sometimes I act like a jackass and she acts like a Jane ass. That's when both of us are having some issues and things like that. But we've grown out of it. We've grown out of it. Uh, Man, bros, Mr. Man, can we really talk about your mom like that? Can we? What role does your mom play, or is she playing in your relationship? What role? Is she the alpha and the omega of your relationship, of your marriage, of your household? Because she's not supposed to. She's married to someone, that her own household. This is your own household. As a man, you need to man up. Your friends, your mom, your parents, Sometimes they feel like they have to interfere in your relationship or in your marriage. You need to set the ground to let them know that that is a no-go area. If I don't come to you about anything, please don't poke your nose. Why? Because your parents, they're gonna leave one day. Your parent, they're gonna pass on one day. It's gonna be you and that woman. And wives, don't look at every mother-in-law as a threat to your marriage. Be nice, be gracious, be merciful, and be good to them. Take care of them like they are your mother. Like I always say, I'm going to use my mom as an example. God bless her soul. Since the day I got married to my wife, I'm the last born of my mom. I'm the last of nine. My wife is the first of five siblings. Since the day I married my wife, my mom always called my wife her last born. That's her child. That's her daughter. My mother-in-law and my dad-in-law, you know what they call me? They call me their firstborn. That is how it's supposed to be. When my mom was alive, my wife, she would take my mom out shopping. They do, mother and daughter day. I don't know how they do all those things. All I just see sometimes when they come back, I see that nice bill on my credit card or my debit card, like, they've gone out again. She'll take my mom shopping. She'll take her out, they do their nails, go and do their hair. Sometimes they just go out to the mall, walk around. She takes my mom out to eat. And they talk a lot. Can you imagine my wife knows my mom more than me? A lot of stories that I did not even know about or never heard from my mom. My wife knows everything. Why? Because she bonded with my mom. She took my mom as her own mom. She took care of her. She cherished her. She respected her. The first time my mom came to America, she stayed with us for like 4 or 5 years. She went back to Nigeria again. She goes and she comes back. And I will tell you, for almost 20 years that my wife knew my mom, that they've been together, they have never had one argument one day. Why? Because my wife, she's a very diplomatic woman. She's very respectful. She doesn't talk back. And sometimes my mom may be going through, women, they go through different kind of emotions and hormonal issues. But you will never see them argue. You as a husband, what role are your parents playing in your marriage? When your parent comes to your house, how long do they stay? My mom can stay as long as she wants when she's alive. She comes, she'll say, I want to stay for 3 months. We say, whatever you want to do. If she wants to go back to Nigeria, buy a ticket. She gets to Nigeria like 2 months later, she says, I'm tired of Nigeria, I want to come back. Buy a ticket. Even there are some cases where I'll tell my wife, I don't want her to come back again. She'll say, okay, no problem. She'll take my credit card, my debit card, she buys the ticket. And she'll just tell me, oh, your mom is coming on so. I say, how did you do that? Why would you do that? She'll say, that's my mom. I did it and I did it. There's nothing you can do about it. I can't argue with her. There are some parents today, some husband's mom, that when they are going to their daughter-in-law's house, the daughter-in-law is going to ask her husband, how long is your mom staying? Mr. Man, is that your situation? Whenever your mom or your dad is coming to your house and your wife is asking you how long they are staying, You need to check yourself out. You need to check out that relationship. Why? Because there is something going on. Try and separate your relationship away from your mom. You can take advices from your mom. You can, talk to your mom about every other thing. Even if you have issues in your marriage, talk to your mom about it. And if you see that your mom is giving you an advice that will not benefit you, you are still the head of the household. The buck stops with you. You can still make a better decision. There's a lot to talk about, but we can't say it all in one day. So it's going to be an iteration. We just continue to build on what we talked about, continue to build on what we talk about. Because the goal is for men to be a better man, a better husband, a better father, and a better child to their parents. Parents sometimes they will come into your into your marriage and they want to take over everything. If you don't draw the line, they will take it over. And at the end of the day, you know what happens? You will lose your wife, you will lose your marriage, and what happens after that? You get divorced and you marry another one. Do you know there's a saying that my mom always tell me when I was young? And that saying is this. She always says, Inka, whenever you want to make that choice, just know that's the final choice. You're not going back. There's no divorce, there's no separation. You have to stick to it. Marriage is not rosy. There are some ups and downs, but you can still work your way out and you can make it a perfect one. I came from a polygamous home. My dad had 7 wives, 27 children. I saw the way we lived, I saw the way we grew up. And in the olden days, I won't call that olden days. All these dads that think they can have two, three, four, five, and six wives at that time, to them it's just a sign to show that they are rich. And 27 children, come on, that's a lot. And growing up, I made that decision and I'm not gonna marry more than one. It is tough. There's a lot of temptation out there, I'll tell you the truth. It is very, very tough for men. But I have a goal and I'm focused on that goal. Temptation will come left and right. Yeah, as a man. Yeah. Would you follow through or follow through all the way to the end? Whatever you're looking for out there is in your house. Whatever you're looking for out there is what is in your house. You married this woman when you didn't believe in yourself, but she still believed in you. And she went all in against all advices and all odds that people were telling her at that time. You think this guy, because she sees the future, you said something to her, said some stuff to her that she believed you, and she took it straight to the bank and she ran with it. And now you guys work together, and now you are here today. And now you are that big shot. Now, when everybody sees you, they only see you, they don't see her. Like they say, behind every successful man, there is a woman beside her. Not behind, it's beside. It's beside her. And the best you can do is to, maltreat your wife or mistreat your wife. And you want to turn her to a slave. She has to wash the dishes. She has to clean the house. She has to take the children to school. She take the children for soccer, and you want to turn her to a slave. No, you don't want to do that. Help her out. Work with her. Cherish her. And your life will be as beautiful as you can. Like we say in the Western world, a woman can break you and a woman can make you. A woman can make your life miserable and a woman can make your life beautiful. It depends on the one you want or the one you want to choose. It's your choice. But I believe we can do better as men. Not just because of us, but just for our generation to come. What are you trying to imply? What are you trying to show your children? So in my household, like I said, I wash the dishes. How do I do it? Because I use the dishwasher. Uh-huh. I wash clothes. How do I do that? I use the laundry machine. I use the washer and the dryer to wash it. In my house, I vacuum and I sweep the floor. How do I do that? I have a robot that does that. It's called iRoomba. All I just need to do is from the click of my phone, I'll just dum dum dum, and it cleans the whole house for me. I mow the lawn. You think I do that too? Yes, I do. Because I paid someone to do it. I take my wife out. See, all of these little things, those are things that weighs your wife down and you don't even realize that. Because she needs to focus on more on better things. She comes back from work and she sees that the plate is clean, the clothes is washed, and she can take care of your children, do your homework with them. As a man, if you have time, do homework with your children. Have date night with your wife. Date her all over again. Me and my wife, every week we go out on a date. We just go out and explore restaurants. Every year on my wife's birthday, I take her to one country or the other. Every year. Just to celebrate her birthday. If you have a nice neighborhood, walk with your wife. Stay away from that technology sometimes. You guys sit down and talk, laugh, joke, you know, give her a massage, rub her knees, all of these little things. It's like you're depositing money into the love bank. And at the end of the day, people will look at you and they will ask you, how are you doing it? It's simple. It comes natural. Some people don't do that, and some people, they are trying, and sometimes trying is not enough. You have to do more. Like they say, if you want something, it has to cost you something. You want a perfect marriage, you want a good marriage, you want a good wife, you have to work at it. So I'm going to stop with this for today. But that's the quick recap. Men and their mom, men and their dad, men and their parent. What role are your parents playing in your marriage or your relationship? You allow them to rule your relationship or your marriage, or you are in charge. How do you treat your wife in the presence of your parents? How do you talk about her? What do you say about her? And how's your wife's relationship with your mom and your dad? If it's not good enough, you can work at it. And there are many ways to fix this. Thank you.